You make me.
Hey, this is Jason from JSM Computer Solutions. Today we're going to disassemble a MacBook Pro A1150. I've already taken out all the screws, at least the visible screws. We've got 4 on this side and 4 on the other side. And we've got 2, 1 in each corner, right there. And then underneath you have your memory cover that I've taken the screws out. And then there's 2 screws right here. And then there's 2 screws here and here. So once we take those out, we can go ahead and pull up the keyboard and the touchpad, and it should just pop right out, just like that. And then we have that already pulled out, and it's just on by this one little connector. Alright, so this is what it looks like inside here. We've got Cd-Rom or DVD-ROM, hard drive over here, Wi-Fi, the fans, motherboard, and the MagSafe board here. So what we're going to try and do first is go ahead and get out some of the easier stuff, and then we're going to go ahead and take out the LCDs so that way we can work a little easier. So first what we can do is take the hard drive out, and it's down here. It's held on by 2 Phillips head screws, and we'll pull those out, and it should be pretty easy to take out. So you have this board right here. That's the hard drive connector along with the Bluetooth connector here, and we can just unplug those, just pull forward, and then we can pull the 2 cables out of here. And there's a 4-prong and a 2-prong to plug into there, so those are released. And then there's your Bluetooth board that comes with it. So what we're going to do is, if you have a multi-screwdriver that has the Phillips head, one of these that you can put different things in, Phillips head, and you're going to need a T5 and possibly a T6 to get a lot of these Torx screws out. So we're going to take out the 2 Phillips head screws right here, and I'll show you where they are on the piece once we get them out here. Then the hard drive should just slide right out. And this is the piece that was holding it down. It's got the 2 screws on each side. There is your SATA cable. And that was pretty simple. Alright, so what we're going to work on next is getting this LCD out, just so we can do the video a little easier too. So what we're going to use is a Torx T6 to start with, and a T5 sometimes works. You might have to switch back and forth and see which one works for you. We have a 6, a 5, and a 7 just in case, because sometimes they don't quite fit in there right with a T6, and then vice versa. Okay, so what we're going to do is we can go ahead and release this wire right here, which is your video graphics cable, and you should be able to just pull straight up and it should pop right out. On the other side, we're going to have 2 wires up at the top. Let's see if I can show you a little better. 2 wires right here that are going to go onto your Wi-Fi card. You should be able to pull those straight up. And then you're going to have 2 more cables right here. Now, let me pull those out. I'll show you what they look like. And they pull out. And you can see that they go back into the actual LCD. from there, what we're going to do is on each side, if you can see, there's two screws right here on each side. So we can go ahead and pull those two out. And that should release the actual LCD hinges. You can see that's the screw that comes out right there. Make sure you hold up the LCD while you're doing this or it'll fall back. Like I said, there's two on each side and they're pretty easy to see. One has, on the right side, holds the video cable wire down. So when you take that out, it will release the wire also. And it should just pop right out, just like that. We'll put that off to the side. And then we'll get on to the next part. Alright. So what we're going to do is work on the rest of this board, and so we can do that. Alright, so we can flip this around so you can see some of it at least. We'll start on the right side here. You've got your speaker here and then your CD-ROM. So we're going to go ahead and take out the CD-ROM portion. Now you can see the whole CD. So we're going to take that out and then take the speaker out. We'll work our way from the right to the left. Makes it a little easier. So basically with the CD-ROM, there's one screw right here that's holding it on now. We're going to pull that one out real quick. You just got to be careful. But that one screw is the only thing that holds it on, so we should just be able to pull it out right after that. Just be careful because these are aluminum and they're pretty easily bent. Hey, let's put it down and kind of pull it up. So now you can just pull it up from the front here. Just be careful, like I said, because they're aluminum. You don't want to bend it. Pull it up, pull it out. So there's your CD-ROM, and it's held on by this connector here. Okay. You've got your underneath that you've got your BIOS battery. You can see it there. Just pull up and it comes right out. There's the cable for that. And then we're going to work on this speaker right here. It's got one screw in it. And that should come right out here. Let's take the screw out and I'll show you what that looks like. And it's got a little cover for a light that is attached to it also. Now you don't want to take out the actual speaker. Just make sure that it's good. Well, actually, I guess you can. You can pull it up. It just sits in a piece that's underneath, so you just got to put it back if you're looking to put that in there, to replace the board. All right, so now we have a few fans and some screws here. Screw here, fan screw here, here, and here. Screw here, a screw up here, screw here, screw here, 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 there, and then the fan screw here and another screw here. And that will work our way around taking the screws out. So I'm going to pause the video, I'll take those screws out, and then we'll work on the left side of the board. Okay, now we're all set. Taking those screws out. I just wanted to point this one out here. There's a screw right here I haven't taken out yet, but it's black and you can barely see it. I just wanted to make sure you guys saw that. You can take that out also. If I can get it out. Alright, so now we have most of the actual motherboard ready to pull out. I just want to make sure that you get everything on this right side here. So the fan should be able to pull out on this side here. Just pull down on that piece there. You should be all set. And then you have your right side here. And there is another black screw on the fan too I wanted to let you know about. At least on this one here it's black. It may not be black on the one that you have. Just want to make sure you guys know. And then you have your secondary fan here. So now pretty much most of the motherboard should be able to come out. But we still got to work on this side here before it comes out. So we need to take the Wi-Fi card off and this speaker and then get the rest of this speaker out, and then we can do that. So we've got one screw right next to the fan, which is right here. You can kind of see it, and that should pull out a good portion of that. You can take that screw out, but don't take out the fan yet or the speaker, because you want to take that Wi-Fi card out first, because there's a screw that holds the two together, and there is another screw that holds the speaker in right next to it. And I'll show you here. So I get this one screw out. Alright. Alright, so right here at the bottom, there's a screw right here that holds on the Wi-Fi card, and then there's another black screw that holds that speaker on. So we're going to take the Wi-Fi card out, screw out first. It's just a tiny little screw, and then we're going to take the Wi-Fi out. And then once you get that screw out, the Wi-Fi card should just pop right up. And pull out. And there might be some tape on it. Just remove the tape. And there's your Wi-Fi card. And it's held on by this bracket right here. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and take out that last screw, and I'll show you exactly where that is. Alright, the black screw is right here, right in front of my thumb. That should come right out. And if I can show you, you've got cables that go here underneath, and then you have cables that go off to the side right here. You should be able to just pull this up, and that should come out. Pull the cable through, and then if you pull up this, it came out easier than I thought. If you see this cable here that's got a bunch of colors on it, sometimes it might actually be underneath here, so you might have to pull that out. Right now we're not going to until we get the rest of this board out, but that's what your speakers look like there. Okay, so next what we're going to work on here is actually going to be getting this board out here, and this is your MagSafe board here, but you're going to have to take out the card reader here. So what we're going to do is it's actually held on by one Phillips head and then a bunch of the Torx. So we're going to pull this screw out here, you're going to have to get you're going to have to take this one out here, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's actually like on this one here. If you have one just like that, it will take that screw out. And then you have a screw right here, and then a Phillips screw, small one, right there. So let's go ahead and take those out real quick. And I'll show you what the board looks like after that. And that's what that one screw looks like that you'll need the special screwdriver for. Like I said, if you have one of these, you should be just fine. You should be able to put it right on top. And then there's the Phillips head at the top. Oh, and there's actually a screw that I missed right underneath this set of wires. And that happens a lot with the Macs, and you'll miss a couple screws because you don't see the wire. There's a lot of wires covering them. So make sure you grab that one, and then after that it should pop right out. You gotta take off the, I'll pop it out real quick and I'll show you. Make sure you take this piece off, pull that up before you pull it out, and it'll come right up. But there's your MagSafe board with your audio ports and your card reader. And there's where the cables plug in on for the hard drive side, and the cable to the motherboard there. Okay, so now we should have almost all the screws out. Some are falling out. And from that, we should be able to just pull this board right out. Pull down on the battery connector. And some of them are taped in, so you're going to have to pull a little bit. Now on this right side here, there's a board that's attached to this wire. I don't know if you can see it here. This fan. I'll discuss that in a second. Alright, so on the flip side, there's a cable right here that plugs into the actual case. You just want to pull that out. So there's your case right there. Okay. On the actual heatsink, there's a sensor right here, and it actually plugs into the motherboard, so you gotta take that out also when you're pulling that all out. There's the power cables, fan, and motherboard. Alright, so next what we're going to work on is the actual LCD. Here it is. It's going to be held on by two screws, one at each corner. You see the screw there? And there's a screw right there. I'm going to take those two screws out. And then I'm going to show you how to actually get it off. You gotta be careful because these are aluminum and you don't want to bend the bezels, especially if you're replacing the LCD. Okay, so we have that, those two screws out. So what we're going to work on first, we're going to try to work on getting the LCD bezel off. And if you have a nice flathead screwdriver like this, it's very helpful. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to put it flat, and then we're going to try and work. And you got to be careful because you don't want to bend it. But if you put it right here where the latches go and pull up, it's going to start moving it away from the actual lid. Macs work a little differently than the PCs because the lid is actually attached instead of the bezel being attached. So it's a little backwards. So once we get a little decent working on that, we can get the big parts done at the top. We can kind of work on the rest of the bezel here. And you just got to be careful because it's glued on also, and you don't want to bend that bezel. You can see I can kind of, if you work at it real slow, you can get it right off. You just got to kind of get underneath and then pull out. And if you get it enough to a corner, to both the top corners, and the rest is pretty easy. Alright, so now we have at least the top done. Should be able to pull it up, and then on each side, you can see, we want to try and work it on the sides now. If you actually put it in and push towards the bezel, towards it, I don't know, you can't see it. If you push towards the LCD part, it actually pops the LCD away from the lid. And then the lid just pops right off. And if you can see on the actual lid, it's got lips right here that you're pushing away from the actual bezel. Okay, so what we're going to work on next, so we can't take that off yet, is we're going to work on this portion right here. And what we're going to do first is we're going to take these orange tabs off. These are just stuck on here, so you can just pull them right off. If there's any tape, remove the tape. And then what we can do is there's going to be screws underneath here. Underneath these, where the rubber piece is in the front, that's what we're going to take off first. And there's actual screws, so we're going to have to try and pull out first the LCD inverter. We can. Should be able to pull that out and unplug that. Just like that. And there's your LCD inverter that's just hooked on by that port and that port, which is this cable and this cable right here. Stuck. And this cable here is actually screwed on, so you're going to have to unscrew that too. Alright. So we're going to take out these screws real quick. And now that you can see them, there's one right here, two here in the middle, one here, and then there's one on the other side, which is right here. So first what we're going to do is we're going to take off this screw that's holding this wire on so we can get to the screw that's being covered by it. And work on these other two, I guess 5 screws. And they should come off pretty easily. Once we get this off, then you can see the next parts here. And that way, and the reason why I do it this way is that way we can get these wires out of the way so we can work on the rest of others. So once you get those off, this should pull right off. And then get all the screws out of the way. Okay. So once we get that off, we can start kind of getting other stuff out of the way. So we can go ahead and start taking off the LCD parts at the top here. The graphics cable. Should just pull right out now. At the top here, you've got your webcam, and that should pull right off. And then at the bottom here, there's some tape, just pull it down. So now we have access to get these off. So, at the bottom right here, now that we can see, is a screw that holds on the graphics cable. And like I said before, Mac does this a lot with a lot of their cables. They screw them down. So that should come right out. Alright, so now that those are all out, what we're going to work on next is getting the actual piece off here. So this is your hinge cover piece. And if you actually look at it, there's a screw here, right here. There's a screw here. There's a screw right here. And there's a screw here. And there's a screw all the way at the bottom here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's, on this one it's black. So once we get that off, we should be able to slide it off. So let's undo those real fast. And that should be the only thing that's holding on the hinge cover. Alright, so now once those screws are out, you should be able to work your way up on one side here. In theory. You should be able to pull this out too, which is your Wi-Fi cables. That way we can get that out of the way. It should pop out, just like that. So there's your hinge cover. Sometimes it's a pain, sometimes it's easy to take those out. That one was, once you get it going, it just slides right out. Alright, So what that did is that freed up our webcam cables and then your graphics cable. Alright, so next what we're going to work on is your hinges. So you have 4 screws here and 4 screws here, and we'll take those out. I want to stop the video for a second. Go ahead and take those out. Okay, so I took out the hinges, and what they look like is this. And they come out with 4 screws. So the screws on the outside are what comes out. So I took those 2 out, and then there's a hinge bracket which I haven't taken out yet here. And what we're going to do is there's 1 screw that holds that on. And then on the top, and then if you look at the bottom of it, there's 2 more screws that hold that on. So let's take those out real fast. And that's what the bottom bracket looks like there. So we'll take out the other bracket, and then what we're going to do is we'll take out the screws. Actually, there's only 1 screw that holds this one on. We already took the other one out. Okay. Now, to get the actual bezel off, there's actually 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, and 4 on each side. And then and that should be it for that. And then we're going to take out the webcam, which is right here. It has 1 screw that holds it in, the board at least, and then there's another screw underneath. I'll show you that. And then we'll take those other screws out. So there's the 1 screw hole here for the board. And then to actually get the webcam out, there's another screw right here. So don't try to rip the webcam out without taking that screw out, because it will rip it right out. And there's your webcam right there. Alright, so what we're going to do next is take out those 4 screws on each side, and then I'll show you how to get the LCD out. Okay, so we got those 8 screws out, 4 on each side. So we're going to take the bezel off, and what we're going to do is we're going to take our flathead screwdriver, and we're going to go real easily at the top and just run it across under here without trying to do any damage. You just want to get enough in there so you don't bend the LCD or the bezel, just enough to kind of pry it away. And then once you get enough, you should be able to pull it through. Other sides are coming. See how it's pulling apart, but they put glue under here. So you just want to kind of get enough in there to get that glue unstuck. If you pull too hard, you're going to bend the bezel. Let's try a little bit on this side here. Notice that they put glue on here, so you just got to be careful. And they put it on the front too, so now we've kind of worked our way down to get at least a piece of it out. And just kind of keep working at it. And at the bottom here, you want to be careful because they will pull the actual, actually pull the aluminum on the LCD away too. So you just want to push up just a smidge on each side here. Oh, this one's got some tape on it. Not all of them have tape that I ran into. Just be very careful. Just keep working on it, just got to be patient. Pulled up a little bit, but it snaps back down. If you pull it up a little bit, it should snap right back down if you do it right. And then pulling, pulling, pulling. Don't pull, make sure you're pulling up and not out. Alright, there we go. So there's your LCD in one piece and not bent. There's your LCD bezel, and here's your LCD. As you can see on this one here, this is what kind of happens if you don't do it right. There was a lot of glue on this one, but it pulls up a little bit. Should be fine once they put it back in. They just put a lot of glue on the bezel. And that should be it. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at support@jsmcomputersolutions.com. And I hope you enjoyed the video.